Welcome traders for this final video of this week. Today's Friday, the 26th of November, and today's going to be an interesting one. This is an example of the unpredictability of the markets, news, bank holidays, and why you should manage your risk and when unexpected things happen. So yesterday I was looking at the CAD yen and the dollar CAD. So let me review that before going on to the next opportunity for today. So what did I look at yesterday? Well, I was looking at this area here. I was looking for the short. What happened? The market went right through. It had no reversal price action. It went beyond the structure and there was no entry there at all. So there was no signal and the day went on. The London session ended. What happened? We went into Asia, and in the Asian session markets started consolidating, and as the next day began, we had this huge drop and the market collapsed and the CAD fell, the yen got stronger, and we had that move, and unfortunately missed out on all of this juicy price action. So this is what happens. This is what can happen in the markets. I don't trade Asian sessions, so I wasn't here to see all of this. This was Asian sessions usually very quiet, and as you can see, we had this unexpected move, but the bias was correct. The analysis was right, and it lined up with the technicals. And what made such a move happen? Well, apparently there was a bit of news that came out that you can see here, claimed that it rattled the market. Funny that it coincided with the technical aspect and the technical bias, and you can see that the money went into the yen, which is why the yen strengthened, and then the CAD yen by reversal fell. So that happened in the Asian session overnight in the quiet times, and I did mention the US bank holiday and that quiet period, and combined with the time that it happened, the news came out, we had this huge drop. So that was that. Unfortunately, that was a missed opportunity, but that is what happens in the market, and you do occasionally get some missed moves like this, and unfortunately it was a really big one, but such is life. The main thing is the risk was managed, nothing gained, nothing lost. Let's look at the dollar CAD, also interesting here. So I was talking about selling the dollar CAD anywhere between the 50% mark, and between those two levels, 50% mark was here with the stop loss below. And what happened here? Well, we had the that overnight period right here, the Asian session, market consolidated, and the pattern here. If you stayed up, if you stayed during the day, and what happened? The market rallied straight through, just as with the CAD yen dropped. So therefore, dollar CAD exploded upwards, and we busted right through the take profit point. You can see the market spiked through that, and a great trade here. I think it's somewhere around at least about 5 to 7 risk to reward ratio. So that was a fantastic trade and right on point with the analysis. Never know how the market will play out and how it will actually unfold. In this case, there was a lot of consolidation, a lot of market was ranging before it actually did its move the next day, rather than the day that we looked at, we expected. But that was it. Again, the bias was correct, the analysis was correct. It was just unfolded in a different way than expected. Okay, now let's move on to the trade for today. And today I am going to look at the Swiss yen. So, Swiss yen, what do we see here? If I go to the higher time frame, to the weekly, I can see that there is a clear momentum to the upside. The market is creating higher highs and higher lows on the weekly, and now we are in that retracement of that move. Now that we are in that retracement, we can see that we've got weak candles. Previous week was weak, so I expect a continuation of that. And if I draw a fib level from the obvious swing points, I can see that we haven't even reached the 50% level. So even though I do expect, or market may create another swing point and continue upwards, at the moment we are in that short-term downtrend. So we have a level here as well, and if I go down the time frame to see what's happening on the daily, I can see that the market is ranging here, and the 50% level is here, and anything below the 50% level I will start looking for the buy, the continuation on the Swiss yen. Now, seeing as we haven't reached that point, I do expect a bit further action to the downside. If I go down a time frame, then I can also here draw a trend line. I can see that there's a trend happening. So I do see some continuation to the downside, at least in the short term, to come down to this level here, the pink line. And this is going to be an intraday trade. I can also see here there is another level here that we bounced off of, so I do see continuation to the downside, and that shows up on the 4 hour as well. So we've got the weekly where we're in a pullback, we've got the daily where the market is trending down in the trend, we've got the 4 hour here, lots of confluences. Now I'm going to go down time frame to the hourly. I can see that we've had a break of the structure here. The market has gone lower, indicating that it wants to come down and go lower. So now, when the New York session comes, I'm going to look for that continuation to the downside. So now that I've got this reference point right here, and the market is indicating that it's going lower, my bias is to the downside. I'm going to look for a good price to enter, and obviously, again, I can draw a fib from my reference points, and anywhere above the 50% level is good, but I do like when it goes through the 61.8. So I've got a level. There's a smaller structural level here, so I would like to see the market spike through, and this will be the reference point, the risk, and I'd like to see the market come down very heavily and create some very bearish price action, bearish candles, and that will be a signal for the sell. And then either that will be the first entry, if that's a very clear bearish candle, to continue down, or I will look for a retracement and then enter there with the risk being the previous structure, wherever that is formed on the lower time frame. So let's go to the lower time frame. See what's happening here. We've got all our reference points here. We've got this level here. It's going to serve as a reference. I've got this high here. Now I'm just going to delete the fib. Now we can see clearly on the chart. See the market heading up here, and now I'm going to wait for the New York session and see what happens. So as I was just saying, we may see this, and then I want to see the very strong price action to the downside, and then look for the retracements as the market heads lower. Now if it doesn't show signs of heading lower, then I'll stay away from it. I do like the fact that obviously the yen is strong, as just mentioned earlier. The Swiss is also strong because the market went to safety, and what happened was money went into the Swiss franc as well. And if I just look at the dollar Swiss, we can see that. So yeah, the dollar Swiss dropped because the money went into Swiss franc. So there's strength in the Swiss as well, which is not great for our setup here, because if both currencies are strong, both the Swiss and the yen, then we can expect consolidation in the market. Now, if the Swiss is weak and the yen is strong, that is ideally what we want for the market to head downwards. And obviously, if the opposite was the case, the market would head upwards. So that's not a fantastic thing for this setup at the moment. The correlation doesn't match up, the strength and the weakness, but I'll check the price action and see if the price action gives me something clear. We'll only look at this trade seriously if that happens. So again, like with the previous trades for this week, you can do the same thing. Wait for the... Let's just draw it out to make it obvious. There's the trend line. Wait for that. Wait for that very obvious break. And then, again, retracement. Will be nice if we break this structure right here. That will be further confirmation. And then continuation down. So that's all I see for now. Don't really see any others because the market has really exploded in unexpected ways. So we need to let it settle down. You can see the pound is just today has just euro pound has raged higher. What else we got? Euro yen dropped. It's now in the consolidation because of that. Yen, Euro New Zealand, just moving higher overnight. Euro, same thing, exploded higher. We're now in unclear consolidation. So pound yen again. Pound yen dropped as expected earlier in the week, and it just happened today. Pound dollar. Again, not much clarity here. It's in a bit of a range. So, yeah, dollar yen. Did that drop? Yep, of course, very heavily on that yen safety. So, yeah, nothing to really see here because the market has made some really volatile, unexpected moves. So, let it settle. No high probability setups for the moment. Nothing else apart from that Swiss yen, which in itself is not the highest probability. So I want to be patient here. This is where it comes down to just being patient, psychology, the emotions, letting the market do what it needs to do until it creates the right setup. So let's see what develops in the Swiss yen, and I will judge it from there come the New York session. Okay, good luck, good trading, and see you on the next video for more analysis.